click that. And it says it's recording.
Okay. So first question. So what's the difference between assimilation, differentiation, and integration?
Well, assimilate kind of makes sense as like they want everyone to conform to one style of like business. In the document, it talked about how there were there's like a Cambodian guy, there's African Americans, and how they wanted all of them to be on like the same platform, but that's not how most businesses are run. They usually diversify and want them to be different.
Yeah, they mentioned no color, no difference, that everybody was the same.
So everything's gray?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to find that other page. Okay, and then what about am I saying that right? Differentiation? Let me see.
Differentiation.
So differentiation is like on that PowerPoint, it says we celebrate differences. So they like to have the different
lifestyles and opinions.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, and then integration, we are all on the same team with our differences, not despite them.
Yeah.
Okay. Give an example of an organization you have observed or worked for that shows some aspect of the paradigm you chose. Explain whether you think that paradigm was effective for that organization. So I guess we could think of each one. If any of you guys can think of each one, a different situation, and then we'll just talk about it. Just talk about it for a minute. Where I work, there's a lot of different races, and it's kind of nice because we all kind of bring different aspects to work, and different ideas and ways of looking at things.
So in your job, are you on the last one, the learn and effectiveness that comes from it, that we're all different and that's what's important, that everybody brings their own aspects to that company?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I kind of looked at the school the district in general, and I kind of looked at the first one because, equal opportunity, fair treatment, complying with the federal equal employment opportunities. It seems like the government has really got their nose into everybody's business, and when it comes to the district, I really think that they're sticking and trying to hire, make everybody equal and hire people just to make sure that they're following compliance codes when it comes to the federal government, because they want everybody to be the same. That sounds bad to me because I don't think it works for the district. I think there's such a variety of people that there should be more of the effect, right, what you've got in your company, which I don't feel the district has here.
Yeah, it's nice because then, I don't know, I just think that you get different, people look at things, they give you different ideas and then things that you don't think of, and then you're like, oh yeah, that's a great way to look at it, or,
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I work for a small company, and it's all white guys. But I'm the youngest person there. And so everyone there is probably like 30 or older. I'm 24. So like my view of the world is different than theirs. And so I feel like I do get the opportunity to bring my ideas in fairly often, and they're appreciated. So they don't just push me aside and try to make me think the way they do. They're very open to adapting.
They probably like your ideas because you're younger.
Most old people don't like us young folk.
Oh, I beg to differ there. Us old people do like you young people.
Okay, so we'll go on to number 3. So in the Melody Hobson says color blindness is dangerous. Do you agree? Is she making a point similar to the one made by the authors of Making Differences Matter?
I think when it comes to color blindness, that's when people become defensive, because the difference to me between color blindness and I think I have been doing a little bit of color blindness, because I'll say, well, I have friends who are black, I have friends who are Hispanic, I have, but I don't look at them as that, and that's true. I don't look at them, but maybe I need to look more on the way of color bravery, at looking at them and accepting their ideas. I have 2 daughter-in-laws who are Hispanic, and I don't look at them any different. But when I think about it, they bring much more into my family as individuals with a Hispanic nationality, because they teach us different types of food, different types of traditions, things like that. And I think
that's fun.
Yeah, that's more the color bravery than it is the color blindness, I think.
Yeah.
I kind of took her thoughts as color blindness is not necessarily accepting people of race. It's acknowledging that there's a problem or there's an issue and addressing it head on, not necessarily like being okay with people of color yourself, but in the workplace acknowledging that there can be and has been and will be issues of race, and being brave enough to address it head on, and not just saying, well, I'm comfortable with somebody that's of color. And I think they're taking it a step further, because I think that's how I took it. I took it as being brave, is being willing to address that there is an issue or can be an issue, and then when there is an issue, to address it, not just
yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, I think like what you guys talking, it's I reflected like few years ago, because I never worked, but my rugby, that's my career. And the first time I walked into to the club that I used to play, they're all white people there, and like when I walk in, they're all staring at me, and they said, oh, "Why am I doing here?" And like but I can feel like they're trying to mock me, because sometimes like when the coach talk to me, I can't even understand what he was saying in English. So they're starting to make fun of me, and I know they I think they haven't met any Tongan, like but like later on after that, like they starting to feel safe when I'm on the field, and they can see that like the reason why that I mean, they can see my value, like I can be the what's they called, the main one who run the ball. And then like I reflected on the what's that called, melody.
The melody.
Yeah, Melody. She was saying about like about how, like what you Laura and Lisa was talking about the color brave. like we don't know that we will learn from someone else, but sometimes like we think of people negatively, like we think negatively some other people, but if we see it in a different way, that we can learn from different backgrounds and different people, it's I think it's good method for us to learn from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. To add on to that, one of my other classes is focused on Pakistan. And it said that within the country, there are 75 different languages spoken between 55 million people.
Wow.
And they're all from the same area. They were all born there. It's not like they just came in from all over like America. They're the same people. They make up the same genetic background, yet they're so different. So I'm actually from California, and that's the same thing. Is you go to LA and you're walking down the street and you can walk by, people of color speaking so many different languages so fast. And I feel like in that environment, you become acclimated to it, and you stop seeing people as color or race or like a language, or they become just people and they gain value. But like a lot of places where, like here in Utah, there's it begins to become more culturally diverse, you can start to feel kind of like this low grade racism starting to rise up a little bit as like whiteness is slowly being displaced. And it's weird to watch it because I have a lot of friends who are black here and they get discriminated all the time. They're not treated like people, they're treated like a color.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people could just do well from being in an environment where they're almost forced to become used to it. Like stop seeing color, but like just seeing people.
Just as people. Yeah. Okay. Next question is, why do the authors of Making Differences Matter believe the integration, learning, and effectiveness paradigm is the best approach to diversity in the workplace? Do you agree? Explain why or why not. So why is the integration, learning, and effectiveness paradigm the best approach?
I feel like this one gives everyone the opportunity to be themselves and yet be productive. You don't have to become someone different just to succeed in that environment. Because you come with your own talents and abilities, why should you give those up to gain what someone else already has?
That's awesome. Okay. What does Hobson mean? We kind of addressed this, but let's see. What does Hobson mean about being color brave? Why do you think color braveness would look like in the workplace? Is this similar to the integration paradigm, or are you talking about something different? So we kind of, Lisa, I think, was it Laura? Her answer was good about what color brave was or meant. What do you think?
I'm still kind of confused about like what color brave is.
I don't know. I took it like it was taking accepting people of color a step further. Like it's one thing to not see color yourself, right? It's one thing to accept all races and to accept all people regardless of color, religion, whatever. Like that's one thing. And then to be color brave is just to defend that to other people. Like we're talking about in the workplace, it would mean if you see somebody else not accepting somebody because they're of color. Like in one of the examples we read, there was a Muslim man, and they always made comments about his wife or the alcohol that he didn't drink. Like to me, being color brave in that situation would have been like, well, why do we need to have the party at the bar? Let's be brave enough to stand up for him, even though that's more about religion. If it was because of his color, it would be taking it a step further and being brave enough to stand up and And to say that's not okay, let's change it, let's incorporate something different. To me, that's being color brave.
Okay. So it's like almost like being willing to defend someone.
I think that's how I took it. I could be dead wrong, but that's what I took it.
Well, it makes sense because like you can't get rid of color.
Right.
Like, it's something that we inherently see.
Right.
But we can get rid of the idea that these come with biases.
Right. And it's not okay just like if you accept it yourself, that's just not enough. You need to be able to stand for somebody who's being bullied because of their color.
Yeah. So is this similar to the integration paradigm, or is she talking about something different?
Hold on, my little girl just got out of bed. I'm going to go put her back in. Hold on.
I think it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
I think there are aspects of it that are the same.
Kind of accepting.
Yeah, we do want to accept them, but we don't want to at the same time just make it all about their color. Because that's one point it does talk about in the integration is kind of moving beyond color and looking at it as, I can't remember how the book put it. I don't want to leave this screen because I think I'll record my screen.
Oh yeah, we don't want to mess it up.
Yeah. I wanted to look up the quote that it actually says, but I don't know if I can.
I think Timothy was mentioned like the way we see other people, like we don't like if we see someone else, like we don't have to see they're different from us, and yeah, I think it's when we put ourselves comparing to other people, I think that's starting to color, what's that called? Color
bravery or blindness?
Color blindness.
Blindness.
When we see ourselves that we're better than other people. And like but if we change the way we see other people that we all equal, like that's the that's the color brave. But like but I'm sure that we're not bad because in the gospel like but like in the gospel that we like to love one another and treat other everyone the same that we like to treat us, and no matter who they are, that we all the same, and for me I think it's not a problem for me that because like I can like everyone else I treat the same, and I don't see anyone it's different from me.
Just so you know, I got a warning on my screen that it wants us to end the meeting in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it too.
Yeah, or else it wants us to like pay for it. I thought this was a free service because the school.
Yeah. I went through the BYU thing to do this.
It didn't say anything last time we did this.
No,
because I think Tristan is the BYU Idaho.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, because you started it, like Lindy started it, so I think it should go from her account.
Oh.
Yeah, and I went through the link on the through the class. Oh gosh.
All right, well, let's see what we can get done.
Okay, so the authors of Making Differences Matter explain that some managers are more comfortable addressing problems with outright discrimination than more subtle diversity problems. Have you ever been in a team, group, or organization where one person's ideas or approach to doing work was hard for the rest of the group to understand because of a difference in background, experience, gender, race, or other something else?
Nope.
Yeah. Did you guys get that? Should I reread it?
I got it. I know at work, almost every time we meet as a group, we have problems with because the district is so diverse. I mean, we've got so many people and so many different countries and languages and stuff. More often than not, we have problems because we don't communicate well as a group because of all the different diversity that is in the school system.
Mm.
And I know people like lead teachers, administrators, most of them that I know have a difficulty being able to make that work so that people understand and that communication is good. And I don't think there's ever a time that I haven't been in a meeting where there was some confusion.
Yeah, like having diversity is good, but having everyone's hand in the pot is also bad.
Yeah.
Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And sometimes different cultures don't always mix that well. I work with a woman who is from a different country, nice lady, but her culture is very forward and abrasive, and sometimes she comes across as very rude. Offensive.
Yeah.
And parents, because I also work at a school, a lot of parents will often complain, or a lot of other employees feel like she is being disrespectful. And sometimes it's hard because you see it and you witness it and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so mean. But then, like, if you can remove yourself from it and kind of look at it and realize that how she was raised and how she grew up and in her culture, that's just how they are.
It is. Yeah.
And she never really means any disrespect if you talk to her about it aside from things. I mean, she can recognize it and she'll, admit it. But it's just kind of a thing where you kind of have to follow around behind and try and smooth it over until you get used to her culture and how she was raised.
Yeah.
Okay, what could have been done in that situation to gain from the diversity of the group? So it says, share an experience, but I don't know what situation it's talking
Probably
about.
just the previous one in like that group experience.
Oh,
But kind of like with Lisa, she works in a school district with a lot of diversity. Something that needs to be done in order to make the other people feel validated is explain where their idea is coming from. Because if they bring an idea from, like, say they're from Guatemala and they teach differently down there, they need to explain why they taught like that, how it works, what the benefits are. And then they have to have background. You can't just jump in and be like, this is how we should do it. Because it could be like off the scale from what we do normally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so communication, that's a good point. So just communicating kind of helps.
Yeah.
I think with communicating comes listening. I feel like you can't communicate effectively unless you're willing to listen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think listening, that's exactly what I was going to say, because listening, I think often people don't want to listen, or they think what they're doing is fine. And they've been doing it for years, so let's not change it. But I think you need to listen to different people and different types of teaching or different types of business, whatever it may be. I think that's important.
Yeah. Many companies still do have problems with outright discrimination. Have you ever worked for or observed a company where there are outright discrimination problems? What was that experience like? I haven't worked that much of my life, but so.
I'm 24.
Well, I'm 44, but I didn't work my whole married life, so.
Yeah, I haven't been around that long, so I haven't really seen a lot.
Has anyone seen any problems with outright discrimination?
I mean, there was like with Latu when she was discriminated against, just because she was the only non-white person. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
so
Yeah, That's a good point.
And I guess the only way she overcame it was by proving herself. Like she had to make something of herself rather than just be rewarded the benefit of being a team member.
Yeah.
We have 2.5 minutes.
Ugh. Okay, what did John Skipper, ESPN president, mean when he answered yes to the question, do we hire the minority or the person who is most qualified?
Figure it out.
Do you believe this is the right approach to hiring for diversity?
I feel like there's a point like, do what you think is best.
Well, didn't Melody say the same thing? But she said both, and that hire the minority, but hire who's best for the position. But if I remember, she said that too, and she said both. But I don't know.
I think if you just picked one, that's the wrong answer, because you don't always just want to hire the minority, and you don't always just want to hire the best qualified, because sometimes the best qualified isn't the right fit either. So I think it's a combination of both. I think if you were to pick one, it wouldn't work in your favor.
Yeah,
either
you
way.
just gotta go with your heart.
Look at the situation.
Yeah.
So Tristan, should we start another meeting?
Yeah, so let me pause this one and then I'll download it, and then let me see if I can start a new one.
Okay.
So then I'll email you guys the link right away.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
All right.